People think infidelity destroys only marriages. But when you're the kid in the middle, you realize something worse. It destroys your idea of family, of trust, of the people you're supposed to feel safest with. This isn't a story about my mom or my dad. This is a story about what it feels like to watch your home collapse from the inside and not being able to do anything to stop it. I never expected a single phone call to change my entire life, but it did. I'm 20 years old, and until recently, I thought my family was one of those imperfect but stable ones. My parents have been married for 27 years. They argue, they disagree, they go through rough patches, but somehow they always manage to come back to each other. The last few years actually seemed calm. They cooked dinner together. They watched shows at night. They laughed more. I genuinely thought they made it past the hard years. All of that changed in one evening. And the messed up part is that none of us saw it coming. Or maybe the signs were there and we just didn't connect the dots. It was snowing heavily that day. My dad was outside brushing snow off his car because he had an early morning meeting the next day. My mom and I were finishing dinner. Nothing dramatic, nothing special. Just a normal winter night. His phone was on the table like always. Normally if it rings, it's either an uncle, an aunt, or his boss. Totally predictable. But then a woman's name popped up. A name neither of us had ever heard. My mom answered without hesitation. Not because she was suspicious, but because she genuinely thought it was a wrong number or someone needing help. She said, "Hello? Who is this, and why are you calling my husband?" The woman instantly hung up. My mom stared at the screen like she had just seen something impossible. She opened the messages. And that is the moment my stomach dropped. There were messages going back months, long conversations, late-night video calls, voice notes, money transfers. A 23-year-old woman who told him she missed him. A girl I could have gone to college with. A girl younger than my older brother. A girl only 3 years older than me. I froze. I didn't know if I was supposed to cry or scream or faint or run or laugh at how pathetic the whole thing was. My mom didn't speak for a whole minute. She just scrolled. I went upstairs because I physically couldn't breathe sitting there. I could hear my mom confronting him when he came inside. She was crying, yelling, then going quiet, then yelling again. I put on my headphones and just sat there staring at my wall. I felt like I was watching my entire childhood dissolve in real time. The next morning, my mom called her sisters. One of them actually called that girl. And the girl said she didn't know my dad was married. Which made zero sense because my dad never hides the fact that he's married. Our house is full of pictures. He wears a ring. He uses family photos on apps. But whatever version of the truth she believed or pretended to believe didn't matter. What mattered was that my dad, a grown man in his 50s, was talking to someone my age, sending her money, telling her things he never told my mom. I was disgusted. That's the only word I have for it. For the next few days, everything felt weird. We were all living in the same house, but the air felt heavier. My mom moved like a robot, doing things automatically. She didn't scream anymore. She didn't ask questions. She was just quiet. That kind of quiet that scares you. My dad stayed in the living room most of the time, pretending to read or watch TV, but he wasn't really paying attention. He kept glancing toward the kitchen, toward my mom, toward me. Like he didn't know how to exist in the house anymore. And I felt like I lost a parent overnight. I kept thinking, why would a man who raised 3 kids, who had a wife who did everything for him, want a 23-year-old girl? What could she possibly give him except attention he didn't earn? A week later, I finally had a therapy appointment through my university. And honestly, it helped more than anything else. My therapist didn't judge me. She didn't tell me what to feel. She just asked questions no one else asked. She said, "How does this impact you? Not your family. Not your parents. You." Nobody had asked me that before. I told her the truth. I felt like something broke inside me that I didn't know how to fix. I felt ashamed, even though it wasn't my mistake. I felt betrayed, even though my dad didn't cheat on me. And I felt responsible, even though I wasn't. She said something that stuck with me. You're carrying emotions that belong to your parents, not you. It's okay to let them go. I didn't know how to do that. But it was the first time I considered that I might heal someday. Meanwhile, things at home kept shifting. My mom got quieter, but stronger. She started calling lawyers. Not for a divorce, but to protect herself. She said she didn't trust him enough to stay, but didn't hate him enough to leave immediately. And honestly, I respected her for that. One night, my dad knocked on my door. He sat on the corner of my bed and held a piece of paper. He said he wrote something for me. I didn't want to hear it, but I listened anyway. He apologized for hurting me, for hurting Mom. For being selfish, for breaking our family's foundation. Then he said, I don't expect forgiveness. I just hope someday you want to look at me like you reashamed of me. And I won't lie, hearing him say that broke something in me again. Because I didn't want to feel that way. I didn't want to hate him. I just didn't know how not to. Months passed. We learned how to coexist. My mom cooked normal meals again. My dad moved into the guest room. We stopped having emotionally charged conversations. We just lived. Not as a family, but as three people trying to survive under the same roof. And slowly, painfully slowly, something changed in me. I didn't forgive him, but I didn't avoid him. I didn't trust him, but I didn't despise him. I didn't forget, but I didn't let the memories drown me. Healing didn't come in one moment. It came in hundreds of small, quiet ones. Waking up without crying. Seeing him in the kitchen without tensing up. Laughing with my mom again. Breathing normally. A few weeks ago, he knocked on my door again. He said, I know I'll never be the same father you had before this. But I still want to be in your life. In whatever way you'll allow. I didn't say yes. I didn't say no. I just nodded. Because forgiving him is not my responsibility, but healing myself is. And I'm finally learning to separate the two. Real life is messy, families are complicated, and healing is never simple. Where every truth finds a voice, and every voice finds a place to heal.